the series might have gone to Australia. A couple of tosses, yes, but a couple of good performances. Now, this preview for game number 3 is going to be interesting because we do expect changes from both sides. Firstly, it's a different venue. We're going to the Australian capital of Canberra. It's going to be a drive from Sydney. They're still going to be in their bubble. So they just drive down from Sydney into the Australian Capital Territory and into Canberra. Michael, first up, if we look at the Australian team. David Warner's gone. So that's an immediate replacement. What about, say, a Mitchell Starc? You already start thinking, okay, maybe just start giving him a break?
No, I'd keep playing him. I think he needs to be bowling. So I'd play Starc again. He's a high class performer. He'll get it right. There's no question about that. So I'd just keep bowling him. I would think that Alex Carey will probably open in the batting, and that maybe allows Cameron Green to come in that middle order. Gives them another bowling option. When you're 2-0 up in a series, why wouldn't you use the opportunity to blood a young player like Cameron Green, who is thought of so highly? That's what I would do. Whether they do that or they don't, we'll have to wait and see. But I would think Carey, he opens in the Big Bash for the Adelaide Strikers. He has done it before for Australia. So I think Carey would go to the top, and I personally would just bring Cameron Green into that middle order. It just gives them a bit of depth, a bit more firepower, because he can crash the ball out of the park as well. But apart from that, the bowlers maybe rest one of Hazelwood and Pat Cummins, particularly Pat Cummins, who has obviously had quite a stretch in the IPL. And just pick any other. Probably Abbott would come in for someone like Pat Cummins, but they'll be confident whatever they do. And I know Warner will be missed because that combination at the top is such a strong one, but I don't think it'll affect them too much. I think they're playing so well and they're full of confidence.
Yeah, let's hear from the fast bowler, Zahir. Justin Langer has already indicated they definitely will look at this over the long summer because some of their fast bowlers obviously play across formats. So you would want to look at each game and see who you can use sparingly.
Exactly, but about Mitchell Starc, you got to give him that run. He's clearly looking that he's underbowled, and that is something which will just come in the match scenario. You can try and replicate everything in practices, but the pressure situation which a match scenario brings, you cannot replace that. So from that point of view, I think they would want Mitchell Starc to be ready for the test matches, and more rebowls in the match scenario, better is going to get. I still feel they might look at someone like Matthew Wade in the middle order, just going by the thought process, how they've approached using Henry Case is something that they will follow. I think Cameron Green. I know Michael really wants him to be there in that playing 11, but looks like the Aussies have a different plan for him. They want to play that waiting game and wait for the right opportunity. Maybe looking at him more like a bowling all-rounder than a batting all-rounder. So I think they will possibly go with Matthew Wade as Warner's replacement.
Yeah, that would be an interesting choice to see what actually happens in Canberra. Zahir, I'll stay with you as we focus on Team India. And we definitely expect to see changes here, not just because we feel that way, not just because they've lost the series, but because Virat Kohli has clearly come out and said so.
Right. I think the options which they have, maybe look at Kuldeep coming back in, give him a run, see how he goes about it. Another spot which they might think of is Saini. Maybe Shardul Thakur will come in place of Saini. These are the two replacements which I am seeing. Third one, Shreyas Iyer. I wouldn't want to maybe take that route, as Michael was rightly saying. If you're looking at World Cup, he's someone who is definitely going to be around. Looking at the conditions World Cup is going to be played under. So I think he's someone who, if he faces these kind of tough challenges, he can evolve himself as a player. So these are the only couple of changes which I see. Batting, I don't think they should tinker a lot because they've been doing a fair bit of job in this series. So they should continue with that. But as far as bowling is concerned, I think maybe they can look at a couple of changes.
Yeah, it's a tough one at an end of a series like this, Michael. It's sort of weighing the options between giving others an opportunity and not allowing someone to feel that they've lost confidence in them.
No, I don't think you can lose confidence in players after 2 games. Saini will be the one, I think, just to try and maybe change their formation. If Hardik can bowl a little bit more, there's your seam options, and then you could bring in obviously the left arm finger spinner, the wrist spinner that can obviously produce a little bit of magic. Shreyas Iyer, I've always had this argument with people that if someone's struggling against a certain bowler but you rate him, or a certain type of bowler, but you've got to keep playing them, because the only way to get better is to keep facing it. It was like when Usman Khawaja used to play for Australia. He used to go into spinning conditions that they didn't play in. And I would say, well, how's he going to get better if they don't get the opportunity to play a few games to improve? So Shreyas Iyer has just got to keep playing. He's got to improve that technique. He's got to somehow find a way of being able to stay still. That moving to the leg side, hit over the offside, every now and again it'll work, to surprise the bowler. But you have to be. I like Virat Kohli. He plays from the crease and he just watches it, and he's got both options covered, both onside and leg side. So that's an area of his game that he'll need to improve. But the only way to improve is by being out in the middle. You can hit as many balls in the nets. You can be on the machine for many, many hours, but you really do need to be facing that ball coming down to you in a match situation. And he's clearly got a gift, and he's clearly got an eye. He's just got to work out a technique and probably more of a mental mindset about what he's going to do to that short pitch ball. And, go and sit with Virat Kohli. He's got the best in the world in his dressing room leading him. Go and have a session with Virat to ask him how he faces the short ball, because there's not many who face it as well as Virat Kohli, because he stares at the ball and he looks at the ball to score off first and foremost. And if it's not quite there to hit, he has a technique that can get him out of trouble. But first and foremost, that base of technique, that wide stance he gets himself into with his hands nice and high, he's always looking to try and take it on. If it's not quite there, he's got a good option of getting out of the way. And I think Shreyas Iyer could just take a leaf out of that book.